All right, welcome. Today we'll be covering how to analyze transactions and why I believe it's the most important part of this process. So the first thing we want to look at when analyzing a transaction is going to be the accounting equation. Now, there's going to be three major parts to an accounting equation: your assets, your liabilities, and your equity. All right, so let's go over the three main topics of an accounting equation. First, you're going to have the assets, which are going to be economic resources that are expected to benefit the business in the future. Liabilities, which are going to be debts that are owed to creditors. And then equity, the owner's claims to the assets of the business. Now, how we set up the equation is going to be the assets are equal to the liability and the equity. So the next order of business is going to be actually covering the transaction portion and how we define it. A transaction is an event that affects the financial position of the business and can be measured with faithful representation. Now, this can be in several different ways. It can be from either property, buying property from the company, the owner of a business actually applying credit to the business itself via a cash transaction, depositing into the capital of the business itself, or simply paying your rent. So many things can affect a company and when it comes to their profitability, such as economic booms or recessions. But as accountants, we are only keeping track of dollar amounts. Again, being those acquisitions of funds, property, or paying of rent comes in our negatives. So as accountants, that's what we're looking at. Hard figures, not any special events that may occur throughout our time. So now we're going to take a look at the first example in the book, which is going to be part of the accounting equation. The example is going to be on page 11, going to be on screen for you here. So what we're looking at is going to be the owner actually giving $30,000 to the company itself. This is going to go into the capital of the business as opposed to being marked as anything else, because any asset given by the owner will go under capital. The second example we're going to be taking a look at today is going to come from page 12, when we buy or acquire office supplies. Now, when we take a look at the example, which should be on screen now, we're going to have $10,000 in assets from the owner. The actual office supplies themselves are going to be $500, and then the land or property value, which is going to be $20,000, all under the asset column. Now, in the inverse on the other side of the equation, under liabilities, that's where we're going to be placing our office supplies, and also in turn all of the owners and building property value, which is going to total to $30,000. Now, why we put the office supplies under assets and then put that under liabilities is because the office supplies themselves are not going to be spent yet. They're not going to be used yet. So therefore, they're still liabilities. That's why we put them there instead of the deficits. So to define what we put the actual buying of office supplies under or acquiring is going to be something known as a accounts payable, which is a short-term liability that will be paid off in the future. All right, to bring it all together. So with the way we analyze transactions, it's going to help us make decisions in the long term that are going to impact the companies that we work for to make sure we're staying in the net income positively. Without the accounting equation, it'd be hard to keep track of larger items and any purchases the company would make, such as additions, subtractions, or whatever the company deems as a liability. Whether it be office supplies, a building, or simply making a payment to your rent, all things need to be taken into account when coming up with your equation. It's one of the biggest factors ethically that we need to take into consideration, because this is an opportune time for anyone that's going to cook the books, as they say in your most favorite TV shows or in movies you see. This is where that would take place. So this is one of the biggest ethical standards we as accountants need to take heed to, because one mistake could lead to irreprehensible consequences down the line, whether it be legally or just on the moral end. So whether it's from the lower tier levels of management all the way to executives and CEOs, you're going to have different makeups as far as how you're using these different equations, really it's all going to be the same. You're going to find the same outcomes. You're going to be having the same goal, which is how to benefit the company, how to make sure everything is accounted for in the best way possible. Pretty much any tier you go to is going to be using it in the same manner. And as for Leviticus 19:35 says, "You shall do no wrong in judgment, in measurement of weight or capacity." That holds credence to this very much to my heart. I believe it to be one of the key philosophies we need to move forward with balancing, because that's what an equation is. Both sides must equal to be the same, and that's what an equation does, and that's how this passage reads to me. It's about being equal and being fair in all judgment, everything we do. All right, that will conclude my little spiel here on analyzing